Okay, so this is pretty massive when it comes to what's next for Xenosaga, Xenoblade, Nintendo, and everything, because I've been covering this story for a number of years now, ever since we got the whole crossovers with Xenosaga and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with Telos and Cosmos, and now we have something new here that we're going to talk about with Momo, another Xenosaga in a Xenoblade game. There's definitely something going on. There's enough smoke here that there might be some fire, but now we have the best evidence yet, following up on a video that I did before, that Nintendo has possibly acquired the Xenosaga IP, or they went into a collaboration, which I'll explain, because Nintendo has done this before for multiple IPs in the past. So we're going to talk about that and everything here, because this has major ramifications for games that are going to be coming out and remasters that people have been wanting for quite some time now. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers, or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Okay, so let's start off on what's happening here. I found this post on Reddit, and it says that Nintendo may have acquired Xenosaga. They go over the summary that we're going to talk about here, but it was really over on X Cancel, and it was Thus Spoke Jamie. He put together a lot of different information, some stuff that's a bit old and some stuff that's new that pertains to why Xenosaga and Xenoblade fans are thinking that this is a possibility. But I'm going to give you guys the extra layer of depth, talking about what could happen and everything, kind of putting it all together, because more information has came out when it comes to developers on Xenoblade Chronicles Nintendo Switch 2. So it actually kind of all links up a bit here. So over there on X Cancel, Jamie says, to Xeno fans, a strange thing. Between October and November 2025, Bandai Namco removed from Japanese license sites Xenosaga and Baten Kaitos. Today, Momo announcement was without Bandai trademark. You can check yourself with the Wayback Machine, and he shows that off there. He also goes on to say Telos and Cosmos had the trademark in 2018, Momo not. So that has started a whirlwind of speculation that Nintendo has either acquired the IP or has went into some type of collaboration with the IP, because why would Telos and Cosmos have the trademarks, but Momo, a Xenosaga character, would not? In the newest Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition trailer, they showed her off as the brand new blade, and everyone's like, whoa, Momo from Xenosaga. So that is 3 blades, or more like 3 characters as blades in Xenoblade 2 that came from Xenosaga. And we all know, if you have not played it, don't want to spoil it or anything, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, there is heavy, massive ties to Xenosaga, just straight up all there. And it is a must-play experience. Obviously, if you've played Xenosaga and you love that, and you've played Xenoblade, you probably already know this, but it's really just to tie in everything together here. I do believe, now that we have this information here, and with Momo in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Switch 2 Edition, on top of not having the trademark there when it was there before, I do believe there is something happening with the revival of the Xenosaga name, the Xenosaga game, Xenosaga something. And if it's not Nintendo and Monolith Soft doing it, somebody else is doing it. This is something. There's no way all of this just happens. Like I said, I've been covering this story for a while. There would be those trademarks there. There's definitely something happening with Xenosaga. And if you go on the website for Bandai Namco, you don't see Xenosaga either. So Xenosaga just isn't there in their IP list. I don't know, guys. This is just so much smoke. It's hard to say that there isn't something here with all of this. Now, Mr. Hadara, a number of years ago, back in 2019, when asked about it, it was on the table. Bandai Namco was thinking about it. They put it in front of the board. They were looking and saying, okay, let's evaluate how profitable it would be or not. But they ended up determining that it would not be a profitable thing to do, to put resources on, because remastering Xenosaga 1, Xenosaga 2, Xenosaga 3, these games are massive. A lot of stuff to go over, a lot of text, a lot of dialogue, a lot of combat. Would you need quality of life changes? Who's the best developer? It would not be an easy thing. It would not just be press a port button and everything will look good and run good. They're very PS2 type of games. So they felt that it would not be financially successful enough. However, that was back in 2019. Xenoblade 2 had started to make some headway. It was selling, but it wasn't the profile that we have now for the full Xenoblade series. Xenoblade is significantly more popular now at this point than it was back in 2019. Over the years of the Nintendo Switch 1, Xenoblade rose to a multi-million seller across Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade Definitive Edition, Xenoblade 3, and now we have the re-releases of all three games, and Xenoblade Chronicles X as well. That also came out all in 1 year. A big push to make Xenoblade, the Xeno name, significantly more popular than it's ever been. I think that there is something here. Now, here's the crazy thing where I think it kind of ties in together. What we've learned now, that the Baten Kaitos remastered developer, Logical Beat, worked on the 4K 60 FPS support in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition. I want to go over what RPG Site had to say. Nintendo Switch 2 Edition released last month, featuring new content and various visual enhancements and performance upgrades over the Switch original. Japanese developer Logical Beat, who worked on the remaster for Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster, has updated its website to reveal that it worked on the Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's 4K 60 FPS support. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, upscales to 4K 60 FPS docked. As Digital Foundry, it upscales to 4K an internal resolution of 720p. The end result isn't perfect, as they did cover it, but it's a lot better than the original release, and it's better than Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition, so that's definitely good. Now, Mr. Yoshiki Domae, the representative director of Logical Beat, posted about the contribution as well on his own social media account. They translated it, and it said, quote, "Publishing an accomplishment from company Logical Beat. We were involved in cooperating with the support of 4K 60 FPS for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. I myself also replayed it from the beginning. The Ether Jet also feels so good." All right, I love that. So it is worth noting that Monolith Soft has not updated its website to include Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, yet it has included Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is now available on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it is awesome. If you have not played it, definitely check out the Switch 2 Edition. Definitely improves it quite a bit. Not perfect in some areas, some frame rate stuff, but for the most part, you're getting that way cleaner resolution, way better in portable mode, way better frame rate. So that's definitely good. And yes, the Ether Jet is awesome. You have some racing minigame stuff. It's actually really cool. But why this is important is because Logical Beat already did something for Monolith Soft and Bandai Namco with Baten Kaitos. If they did that, and now they worked on this game, when it comes to Xenoblade Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition, you know there's something next from them. This is now a great partnership amongst these three companies. I feel that there's going to be a push for Xenosaga, if it's not already happened, where Mr. Yoshiki and his team are working on Xenosaga 1 through 3, now under the label of Nintendo, and potentially a co-publishing development between Bandai Namco and Nintendo. Now, Nintendo has done this before. They did this before with Fatal Frame. They had a co-publishing announcement where they both own the IP. They also did it with Astral Chain at first, where Platinum Games and Nintendo both owned the IP, but then Nintendo ended up getting full rights to the IP afterwards. So Nintendo has done that before, and they could do it again, where they outright just now own the Xenosaga IP, or they have it to where it's a partnership, co-publishing, maybe with Nintendo with majority, and now it's going to be a Nintendo IP. So maybe they are waiting for the next Nintendo Direct, or for like maybe even a partner showcase or something to show that off, where yes, they're bringing over Xenosaga 1, Xenosaga 2, and Xenosaga 3 to the Nintendo Switch 2, and that would obviously be an incredible announcement for all of the Xeno fans out there. I think it is very possible that this studio is now working on it, and I do think that closer ties that we could see to Xenoblade Genesis and Xenosaga. There's already some sleuths out there that are trying to put together some things between Xenosaga and Xenoblade Genesis. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some ties there. People are already looking at some ties potentially to Xenogears. So I love all of this. Now, what about Xenogears? Because Xenogears is interesting. That's not Bandai Namco. Some people think it's Bandai Namco. It's not. It's Square Enix. So Square Enix owns Xenogears, so if something was going to happen there, that would have to go through Square Enix. Now, that's a little bit tougher because Square Enix does not really get rid of their Japanese IP. They did sell Tomb Raider and all that stuff that they acquired a number of years back, and they sold, like, what, Deus Ex, like the Western stuff, but I don't think they're going to sell their Japanese stuff, so it would have to be some type of collaboration or partnership or something. Now, over the years with the Xenoblade games, sure, there are ties to Xenogears, but really, there's a lot more with Xenosaga. You're seeing it far more with Xenosaga, with the different blades that you can use in Xenoblade 2, with the direct connections and direct stuff in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. So it seems like Xenosaga is more what they're going to aim for right now at this point compared to Xenogears. But I would love to get a Xenogears release on the Nintendo Switch 2. I think that would be awesome. And I feel that this is the all-out push for Xenoblade leading into Xenoblade Genesis that this series desperately needs. Xenoblade is an incredible series. I think that more people should play it, but it is complex. It is a bit obtuse. It is awkward, but it's good. And I think that if they can make the perfect blend of that obtuse nature of a Xenoblade game, the simplicity that we've seen with other RPGs that are coming out, but then also have that depth that you know and love, and that incredible story that makes a Xeno game, I think they can truly expand this franchise and make it the most successful Xenoblade game to date. I think that starting fresh with Xenoblade Genesis is a smart idea. Don't make it to where it's a numbered entry towards Xenoblade Chronicles like 4 or something like that, to where people think, oh man, I gotta be able to play every single game, or I gotta go out there and play everything before I play this one, and becomes a big task that they just don't have the time or don't want to make the time to do. I think Xenoblade Genesis starting fresh, having some loose ties here and there, or maybe even some bigger ties that hardcore fans know, is a better way of going about it, and starting with a brand new protagonist, brand new area, brand new world, brand new everything, and leaning more towards the fantasy instead of sci-fi as it's been described as previous Xenoblade games, now to this one as more of a fantasy RPG. I do believe, and this was a theory that one of my users actually pointed out in a live stream, is that maybe there was a little bit of fine-tuning and potential ideas for Xenoblade Genesis combat done within Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition with the Merc missions. I wouldn't be surprised if they were kind of toying around with some ideas, because that game allows you to switch between any 6 blades in all-out action RPG combat and just fighting, building up meters, some different things than what you saw normally in the combat of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I do feel that maybe they were testing out a few different things and what they can do for the next combat with Xenoblade Genesis. But man, I do feel that it's just awesome. It's such a cool thing that is happening right now with Xenoblade fans are excited when it comes to this. They're looking forward to what's happening with Xenoblade Genesis, potentially with Xenosaga, and us finally getting a remaster after, like, what, 20 years? It's been so long since there's been anything with Xenosaga after what happened, and Bandai Namco kind of stopped working with Monolith Soft, and then here comes Nintendo to save them essentially from shutting down. So it's just great. It's just great to see, and I hope that something does happen, because I think that with the push with Xenoblade Genesis in 2027 and with a nice Xenosaga remasters, in addition to all of the Xenoblade games, I think that this can be the push that the series really just needs. So looking forward to seeing how all of this works out. But what do you think about everything that we discussed here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 and RPG content right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.